snapped, he cried, and the bridges he burned were the way that he died. It's time now to sing out that the story never ends. Let's celebrate, remember you in the life of friends.
I'm Emily Nagoski. I'm the Wellness Education. No, I'm not the Wellness Education Director. I'm the Director of Wellness Education. I got a promotion. A few years ago, my sister and I realized that even though my master's degree is in counseling, psychology, and her master's degree is in conducting, we both got master's degrees in how to have feelings and listen. And ever since then, we've realized that our work is pretty much the same thing, even though they're completely different. And so we've been planning this program for about 5 years, so I'm really excited that you're here for this. So I'm here to teach you about love. I'm here to talk about it, and these fine people from the Women Composers Festival in Hartford are here to sing about it and to play about it. And what I'm going to teach you tonight is the biology of love. Where does it actually come from? And where it comes from is here. The deal is with humans is we have this thing, we have two features that make us extraordinarily special as a species, right? We have these great big giant brains that can have novel thoughts and put ideas together that have never been put together before. Great big giant head to hold a great big giant brain, and these little narrow hips so that we can walk upright. Great big giant brains, little narrow hips. Great big giant brains, little narrow hips. And then we give birth vaginally as a species, and this poses a problem. The solution to the problem is that we are born approximately 2 months too early. And so here is this baby that comes that cannot feed itself to keep itself alive. It cannot run away from predators so it'll just get eaten by a lion. It cannot bathe to prevent infectious disease. It cannot even thermoregulate particularly well. If you leave a baby on the ground, it will just freeze to death overnight if it's not eaten by a bear first. Furthermore, they are loud and heavy, and they keep you awake up at night, and they smell weird, and basically if babies weren't so cute, we would leave them by the side of the road. And it is that cuteness that is the answer. There is this thing, the solution that evolution has given us is the attachment mechanism, so that when you are handed a child that was yours, and it doesn't matter if you gave birth vaginally, or if you are a co-parent, or if you're an adoptive parent, when a child is handed to you and they say, this is yours, keep it alive. There is this thing that happens in your chemistry, this oxytocin thing that happens, and it feels the way Christopher Hitchens, of all people, put it, like your heart is beating in someone else's body. And you may not even particularly enjoy the experience, but when the baby cries, there is nothing that will stop you from going to meet the baby's needs to stop it from crying. Got it so far? It happens more or less instantly for most adult caregivers. It takes the baby about 3 months. Because who knows what can happen to an adult caregiver in the first 3 months of an infant's life, right? So the deal is that your life literally depends on your adult caregiver when you're an infant. And so there's a series of behavioral markers that show us that a baby is attaching. And here's the thing, everything, that whole attachment system gets co-opted at adolescence and moves from adult caregiver attachment onto peer-to-peer attachment. So all these things we see happening between adult caregivers and their infants is also happening between, you know, teenagers. So a lot of eye contact, and a lot of face touching, and a lot of soft cooing voices. These are all attachment behaviors, feeding each other, right? The first behavioral marker is called proximity seeking. Those of us who are parents, I'm not a parent, but those of you who are parents will know proximity seeking by little toddler fingers under the bathroom door when you try to have 30 seconds of alone time to pee. That's proximity seeking. I just want to be near you. It feels so good. The adolescent version is walking past their locker 4 times a day when you don't need to, or reading their whole Facebook wall back to 2008. Proximity seeking. It just feels so good to be with that person. And if you're Freddie Eynsford Hill from My Fair Lady, proximity seeking looks just like standing on the street where you live.
I had often walked down the street before, but